The year is 2025, a year that many economists and analysts have been eyeing with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. The American economy stands at a crossroads, facing a multitude of challenges and opportunities. After years of steady, if unspectacular, growth, storm clouds gather on the horizon, signaling potential turbulence ahead. The stock market stumbles, shedding trillions in value. Consumer confidence plummets, creating a ripple effect across various sectors. Layoffs mount, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the job market. Families and individuals brace for the impact. The specter of recession, once a distant threat, now looms large, causing widespread concern among businesses and consumers alike. Yet, amidst these challenges, glimmers of hope persist. Innovation and resilience continue to shine through the gloom. The unemployment rate, while ticking upwards, remains historically low, suggesting underlying strength in the labor market. Wage growth, though slowing, continues to outpace inflation, providing some relief to workers and their families. Technological innovation, the engine of the American economy for decades, shows no signs of slowing down. New advancements promise to drive future growth. 2025 is a year of profound uncertainty, where every decision carries significant weight. The decisions made today, by policymakers, business leaders, and ordinary citizens, will determine the course of the American economy for years to come. Their choices will shape the future landscape. Will this be the year that America succumbs to recessionary pressures? The signs are ominous, but not definitive. Or will it be the year that the nation navigates these challenges and emerges stronger on the other side? The resilience of the American spirit is legendary. The answer, as with most things in economics, is complex and multifaceted. It will require a collective effort and strategic foresight to steer the economy towards a prosperous future. To understand the economic challenges and opportunities that lie ahead, it is essential to first examine the macroeconomic landscape. This landscape is shaped by a multitude of factors, each influencing the other in a complex web of cause and effect. Inflation, a persistent concern in recent years, remains stubbornly high. Consumers feel the pinch at the gas pump and grocery store, where prices continue to rise, eroding purchasing power. The Federal Reserve, tasked with keeping inflation in check, faces a delicate balancing act. Policymakers must weigh the risks of tightening monetary policy against the potential for economic slowdown. Raise interest rates too aggressively, and the economy risks tipping into recession. This could lead to business closures, job losses, and a significant downturn in economic activity. Keep rates too low, and inflation could spiral out of control. This scenario would further strain household budgets and destabilize financial markets. Adding to the complexity is the issue of national debt. The growing debt burden raises concerns about fiscal sustainability and the ability to respond to future crises. The United States, with a debt-to-GDP ratio exceeding 100%, faces mounting pressure to rein in spending. Lawmakers are caught between the need for fiscal discipline and the demand for public services. Yet, cuts to vital social programs could exacerbate inequality and further dampen economic growth. The social safety net is crucial for many, and reducing it could have far-reaching consequences. Meanwhile, the labor market sends mixed signals. While some sectors experience robust demand for workers, others face stagnation and uncertainty. While the unemployment rate remains relatively low, job growth has slowed in recent months. This slowdown raises questions about the long-term health of the labor market. The rise of automation and artificial intelligence, while promising long-term productivity gains, threatens to displace workers in the short term. This technological shift requires new strategies for workforce development and retraining. Navigating this complex and uncertain macroeconomic environment will require careful stewardship and a willingness to embrace both short-term pragmatism and long-term vision. Policymakers, businesses, and individuals must work together to chart a course through these turbulent times. For decades, the technology sector has been the engine of American economic growth. From the rise of the personal computer to the explosion of the internet, technological innovation has created countless jobs, boosted productivity, and driven economic prosperity. Yet, as we enter the mid-2020s, questions linger about the sector's ability to sustain this impressive run. The valuations of many tech companies, particularly those in the social media and e-commerce space, appear increasingly detached from economic reality. Concerns about a tech bubble, inflated by years of easy money and speculative fervor, are growing louder. A sharp correction in the tech sector, while not inevitable, could have significant ripple effects throughout the broader economy. Despite these concerns, the long-term potential of the technology sector remains undeniable. Advances in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and biotechnology hold the promise of revolutionizing industries ranging from healthcare to manufacturing. The challenge for policymakers and investors alike will be to foster an environment that encourages innovation while mitigating the risks of excessive speculation. Beyond the headline-grabbing world of technology, other key sectors of the American economy are also undergoing significant transformations. These changes are not just incremental, but are reshaping the very foundations of these industries, influencing everything from employment patterns to consumer behavior. The energy sector, long dominated by fossil fuels, is grappling with the urgent need to transition to cleaner, more sustainable sources of energy. Renewable energy sources like wind, solar, and electric vehicles are becoming more prevalent, driven by both policy initiatives and market demand. This transition, while essential to combating climate change, will require massive investments and could lead to job displacement in traditional energy industries. Workers in coal mines and oil refineries may find themselves needing to retrain for new roles in the renewable energy sector. The real estate market, a perennial bellwether of the economy, is showing signs of cooling after years of robust growth. This cooling is evident in the slowing pace of home sales and the increasing inventory of unsold homes. Rising interest rates and persistent inflation are making it more expensive to buy a home, particularly for first-time homebuyers. The higher cost of borrowing is dampening demand, which in turn affects home prices and the broader housing market. A significant downturn in the real estate market could have far-reaching consequences, as it did during the 2008 financial crisis. The ripple effects could impact everything from construction jobs to consumer spending, highlighting the interconnected nature of the economy. The financial sector too faces an uncertain future. Regulatory changes, technological advancements, and shifting consumer expectations are all contributing to a rapidly evolving landscape. While the banking system is far more resilient than it was in the lead-up to the 2008 crisis, new challenges are emerging. Cybersecurity threats, regulatory pressures, and the need for digital transformation are just a few of the issues banks must navigate. The rise of fintech companies, offering innovative financial products and services, is disrupting traditional banking models. These companies are leveraging technology to provide more efficient, user-friendly services, challenging established banks to adapt or risk becoming obsolete. Meanwhile, the increasing interconnectedness of the global financial system creates new vulnerabilities and amplifies the risk of contagion. Events in one part of the world can quickly impact markets and economies elsewhere, underscoring the need for robust risk management and international cooperation. The manufacturing question: can America rebuild? Manufacturing, once the backbone of the American economy, has been in decline for decades. The loss of manufacturing jobs, driven by globalization and automation, has hollowed out communities across the country. Yet, in recent years, there have been glimmers of hope for a manufacturing revival. The COVID-19 pandemic, which exposed the fragility of global supply chains, led many companies to reconsider the benefits of domestic manufacturing. The Biden administration's focus on infrastructure spending and clean energy could create new opportunities for American manufacturers. However, significant challenges remain. China, with its vast manufacturing capacity and low labor costs, remains a formidable competitor. The skills gap, the mismatch between the skills that employers need and the skills that workers possess, continues to plague the manufacturing sector. Rebuilding America's manufacturing base will require a sustained commitment to education, training, and innovation. The possibility of a recession in 2025 is a very real concern. The confluence of factors discussed above, high inflation, rising interest rates, slowing economic growth, geopolitical uncertainty, has created an environment ripe for an economic downturn. A recession, should it occur, would have significant consequences for American businesses and households. Unemployment would rise, wages would stagnate, and consumer spending would plummet. The stock market, already on shaky ground, could experience a significant correction. The Federal Reserve, in the event of a recession, would have limited tools at its disposal. Interest rates are already relatively low, limiting the central bank's ability to stimulate the economy through monetary policy. Fiscal policy, in the form of government spending or tax cuts, would likely be needed to mitigate the effects of a recession. Seeds of recovery green shoots in the economic landscape. Despite the very real risks facing the American economy, it is important to remember that recessions are not inevitable. Moreover, even in the event of a downturn, the American economy has repeatedly demonstrated its resilience and ability to bounce back. Several factors could contribute to an economic recovery in 2025 or beyond. The Federal Reserve, through careful management of interest rates, could engineer a soft landing for the economy, curbing inflation without triggering a recession. The labor market, while showing signs of softening, remains historically strong. Consumer spending, though slowing, is being bolstered by pent-up demand and a strong labor market. Furthermore, technological innovation, as discussed earlier, continues to drive productivity growth and create new opportunities. The transition to a clean energy economy, while disruptive in the short term, holds the promise of long-term economic growth and job creation. The path of slow growth, a steady but unremarkable journey. In addition to the scenarios of recession or recovery, there is a third possibility for the American economy in 2025: slow growth. In this scenario, the economy avoids a full-blown recession but continues to sputter along at a sluggish pace. Inflation remains elevated but not at levels that would trigger drastic action from the Federal Reserve. The labor market remains tight, but wage growth remains modest. This scenario, while not as dramatic as a recession or recovery, would still have significant implications. Businesses facing anemic growth and persistent uncertainty would be reluctant to invest and hire. Households grappling with higher prices and stagnant wages would see their purchasing power erode. The American dream, the promise of upward mobility and economic security, would feel increasingly out of reach for many. Preparing for the unknown, navigating the economic labyrinth. The year 2025 presents a complex and uncertain economic landscape for the United States. The confluence of macroeconomic headwinds, technological disruption, and geopolitical instability creates a challenging environment for policymakers, businesses, and individuals alike. In the face of such uncertainty, it is tempting to succumb to pessimism or, conversely, to cling to unrealistic optimism. However, neither extreme is helpful. What is needed is a sober and pragmatic approach, one that acknowledges the risks while also recognizing the opportunities that lie ahead. The importance of informed decision-making. For policymakers, this means pursuing policies that promote sustainable economic growth, address inequality, and mitigate the risks of climate change. It means investing in education, infrastructure, and research and development. It also means being willing to make tough choices about spending priorities and the national debt. For businesses, it means being adaptable and innovative. It means embracing new technologies, investing in their workforce, and adapting their business models to the changing economic landscape. For individuals, it means taking control of their financial future. It means saving for retirement, investing wisely, and developing skills that are in high demand. It also means being engaged citizens, holding elected officials accountable for the decisions that affect the economy. 2025 and beyond, a future forged in uncertainty. The year 2025 will be a pivotal one for the American economy. The decisions made today will have a lasting impact on the nation's economic well-being for years to come. By embracing a spirit of pragmatism, innovation, and shared responsibility, Americans can navigate the challenges ahead and build a more prosperous and equitable future for all.